here are the ones to watch. Kyle Power, Steve Ficacci, Alexander Dobertsberger, starting inside the top 10. And at the front of the field, it is the green flag. And Conor Meyer leads the field away ahead of Gary Thomas, who looks like he's going to get a little bit swamped, actually, from the chasing pack as they head down towards turn 1. But Gary Thomas flings it up the inside of turn 1 and brilliantly takes the lead. Yellow Ooms, it looked like he just gave Conor Meyer a little bit of a nudge there at the apex of turn 1. But he's been able to hold on to second place just about, though, as Rosales is trying to make his way around the outside. Ooms in 4th, then Sam Watley in 5th. Carl Power making his way through the field already as he's up the inside of Gregory Leader, but he hasn't been able to make that one stick. And up at the front, Meyer getting pushed out wide on the exit of turn 4, and Rosales goes through.
Hatton got a good start, and he went around the outside this time, not getting pushed out, but it was Harper this time who was on the inside, and he almost came to a standstill at that first corner.
Carl Power's off. Hatton's gone off at turn 6, and he's been able to get back on the track, but he's been swallowed up by the pack.
And Harper has got a damaged front wing, as in the collateral damage from that, so he's in real trouble down the back of the grid.
Spanner's getting it all locked up, and he's punted Henny. Henny's round down at the Dunlop hairpin.
Both rejoined, though, Nova losing one place.
So up at the front of the field, I can see Ficacci making his way through the pack. So he's got away cleanly just ahead of Alexander Dobertsberger. Ficacci making a move on Sam Watley as they head into turn 10. But it is still Gary Thomas leading the way ahead of Rosales, and then Ooms. Gregory Leader has made his way through as well. Then Ficacci, Watley, and Dobertsberger. Van Gien has gone through as well. So we've lost Meyer somewhere in the pack.
Yeah, Meyer's just rejoining just in front of Trumpets. In fact, Trumpets has got a run on him down to the chicane. He's gone to the outside. The S is there. I think he just had a little bit of an off. And Trumpets has got past, in fact.
So another dramatic opening lap to Formula Renault Challenge race. But at the end of lap 1, it is Gary Thomas who leads the field by 0.6 of a second over Adam Rosales. Then Yellow Ooms in 3rd, Gregory Leader 4th, Steve Ficacci 5th, Alexander Dobertsberger in 6th place, then Sam Watley, Alex Van Gien, Colin Ward, and John Lang, your top 10. David Hatton, after an off at turn 6 on the opening lap, has come over the line in 11th place. He's still going, crucially. Top 3 have made
sorry to interrupt you, Chris. Hatton there has just made a move on John Lang for that 10th place, but Lang has just thrown it back down the inside again and has got past, and that's actually put Hatton and Garen Batten together as well. So there's a tight little scrap going on there.
Sam Harper has made it over the line in 19th position, and with that front wing damage, as you mentioned, so it looks like it's going to be another damage limitation race as we've got a move for the lead. Adam Rosales trying to make his way around the outside of the Dunlop hairpin, but Thomas parks his car beautifully and has been able to hold on. Heading back up through the Schumacher S. These top 3 look like they were pulling away from the pack a little bit. Oh, Rosales has gone off at the top of the hill and into the barriers, fighting for the lead. It looked like he just made too aggressive a manoeuvre, and he is out. And so now it is Ooms all over the back of Gary Thomas, with Gregory Leader, Steve Ficacci, and Alexander Dobertsberger making their way forward towards them. So Ooms doesn't look like he's close enough to make a move for the lead into the chicane on this occasion, but Gary Thomas will be feeling the pressure in that number 17 car.
And we were just talking about David Hatton making moves for 11th and 10th. He's actually dropped it, and he's a couple of places down now. He's down in P14, just behind James Wingfield.
Oh, talking of dropping it, Yellow Ooms very nearly did so on the exit of the final corner, and that has given Gregory Leader the invitation he needs to take second place. So, dramas for both our championship contenders. We'll see where Hatton comes over the line. Did you say he made it back onto the track, Chris?
Hatton, yes, he came back in. He's in P13 and he's got Wingfield just in front of him. But Garen Batten has just done a little donut there right in front of him, so gifted him a place. He's now under pressure from Trumpets. Oh. And there's actually a gaggle of cars behind Batten there. We've got Trumpets and Ellis, Philpott making his way through the field as well, with Conor Meyer as well.
I don't think this is going to cause David Hatton too many headaches, though, because Sam Harper's dropped even further back. He's in 24th now.
Yeah, it looks like Harper just pitted to change that front wing because he was losing a lot of top end speed. So he's just coming out the pits now. He is, by the looks of things, in P24. A bit of a disaster for him.
Harper will most definitely still be in championship contention. There's going to be around 120 points still up for grabs by the time they get to Suzuka with 3 races. Oh, Gary Thomas from the lead of the race has spun out at turn 10, and he's out of this battle. And so Gregory Leader takes over at the front ahead of Yellow Ooms. That's a disaster for Gary Thomas.
It is. He's just come back out in front of John Lang and Danny Henny, who are fighting tooth and nail. There's now 3 abreast going down the back straight into the chicane. Who's going to make it out in front there?
Yeah, that's a brave one. John Lang trying to get up in there as well. With Danny Henny on the recovery after being spun round earlier on, but looks like Thomas has been able to hold on for now. Oh, Gregory Leader's gone off at the final corner. And now Alexander Dobelsberger is making a move for the lead of the race on Yellow Ooms. He's coming up towards the inside, down into turn 1. And now Alexander Dobelsberger leads at the Nurburgring. And Ficacci trying to find a way through as well. Yellow Ooms out wide, and he's punted Ficacci as he was sort of retaking his line, but Ficacci goes through. Wow, what a sector that we just saw.
And that's actually caused damage to the front wing of Yellow Ooms. So that was a bit of a mistake, just a lack of peripheral vision there from him. That could put him under pressure from the charging Sam Watley behind him.
Yeah, now if I'm right, I think that's going to be, if he can make it into the top 3, would be his first podium of the season. I think it would. And, oh yeah, you can definitely see the front wing damage on Yellow Ooms' car. And this could be the opportunity for Sam Watley, although Ooms is going to make it difficult for him. Under braking for the Dunlop hairpin. And Watley will have to wait for another occasion to try and make his way onto the rostrum. Van Gien in 5th place at the moment. He's been storming through. And you can see Colton Myers just behind him, but he's a lap down. So Gary Thomas still in 6th place, although I think he's about to be 7th because he's got Henny all over him. And Gregory Leader hasn't lost out too badly as well. He's making a move on John Lang for 8th place as Henny goes through. And for 3rd place, Watley's making his move on the way into the chicane. He's on the outside line though, so he's going to have to try and brake late. And he can. He's got it. Sam Watley into 3rd place.
And if you're wondering where Spanners has gone to, unfortunately, he's dropped right down the grid. He's got big front-end damage. He's circulating quite slowly now down in 30th place. He should really pit to get that fixed. He's not going to make any progress from there, unfortunately. And a good run of an evening for him, unfortunately.
So Brad Philpott, meanwhile, I think he's about to break into the top 10. He's just come over the line in 11th place. He's chasing down this pack of Colin Ward, Gregory Leader.
Sorry to interrupt you, Chris. Watley has gone off at the first corner from P3, and he's now been taken by Van Gien. That was a big mistake from him. He just locked up and sailed wide. Sorry, Chris.
So Van Gien now in contention for his first Formula Renault Challenge podium. So big honours up for grabs between these two. But actually, I think Yellow Ooms has retaken that 3rd place spot. Indeed, he has. So this is all over 4th place. Unless they can reel him in. Ooms, of course, with that front wing damage. So they could still reel him in. They look like they're quite a bit quicker. Van Gien was a 58.3 last time around. Yellow Ooms was 2 minute 0.8. So they're definitely quicker. Can they close them down in the final 3.5 laps of this race?
Yeah, it all depends on whether Van Gien and Watley start squabbling again, because if they do, they'll take time off each other. They need to work together to get reel in Ooms on that final lap, I think, is where it would happen.
Down in the lower echelons of the top 10, Gregory Leader still battling away with John Lang over 8th place. This is, and Brad Philpott right in there as well. Colin Ward, James Wingfield not too far behind, although Wingfield has got front wing damage, and then our championship leader, David Hatton. And Philpott, man on a charge, he's making his move on John Lang down the back straight. And actually, has Lang got front wing damage as well there? I think he does. Yep, oh, definitely does. Can see it on the front shot now. And oh, Philpott, oh, he's tagged Leader on the way into the chicane. I think Gregory Leader was just a little bit slower into that corner than Brad was expecting. And so it's more drama for Gregory Leader, unfortunately. I'll tell you what, just we were talking about that battle between Van Gien and Watley. They've got to be careful because Danny Henning making his way towards them as well. 57.2 last time around. Might well be the quickest out of everyone at the moment, certainly quicker than Dobsberger out up front on a 57.5. So potentially the podium could be slipping away from these two. They might be resigned to fourth place in Ooms. If those two start squabbling, might just get away with the podium. Although with actually, I say that with every passing second, they're getting closer. Although he really did pick up his pace last time around. It was 58.7, despite that front wing damage. So good drive from Ooms so far to keep up the pace.
Yeah, there was only 2 tenths between them, so I think he may well be out of reach as Van Gien has to go defensive into the hairpin from Watley going to the outside. He can't get around him there, and that's definitely let Henny close the gap a little bit. He was really quick with a 57.2 to catch up last time round, so this battle is just hotting up into the final couple of laps.
Easily the fastest car on track at the moment, I'd say, Danny Henny, and he'll make short work of these two, I'm sure. But once again, Van Gien and Watley side by side. Van Gien going defensive on the way into 10. Watley's got to be careful now, got to watch his mirrors because he's now on the compromised line. I think Henny is about to make his move. Getting the double slipstream down this back straight. Watley goes defensive, but as they rise up towards the chicane, Henny looks like he's going to break deep. Is he going to get boxed in there by Van Gien? No, I think Sam let him go actually, and so that's a place gained for Henny into 5th place. And we'll see if he can't make it 4th and maybe even the podium, as we see Ooms running out very, very wide as he's dealing with a lot of understeer. 2 laps to go.
Yeah, that might be tactical. I have seen Watley try and follow cars through when they're making an overtake, so he could be hoping that Henny, who's making a lunge to the inside at the first corner, he's going to get Van Gien there, and pushing Van Gien wide. Is Watley going to be able to get past him as we predicted? No, he's just been boxed out a little bit, so that tactic didn't quite work, but he's right on the back of Van Gien. Can he get him through the stadium section? He looks to the inside. Not this time because Van Gien goes again defensive, but that's put him offline a little bit. This is great racing, Chris.
If we learn anything about Alex Van Gien in the previous race, it's that he's not going to let a silly little thing like being on the wrong line be an excuse for anyone to overtake him. As we see Watley trying to get up the inside into turn 5, but Van Gien shuts the door.
Yeah, that's the experience from Van Gien. He may not have the experience specifically on iRacing, but as he starts to get his pace up, his real racing experience comes to the fore, and just his race craft is just absolutely brilliant. I'm very impressed with his defending lines this evening.
Just update you up at the front of the field. Dobsberger nearly has 3 seconds over Steve Ficacci, so it looks like it's one and done. All eyes are on 3rd place between Ooms, Henny, and then this battle between Van Gien and Watley to see who can come out on top between them. And once again, Van Gien having to go defensive, but I think Watley might have just sold him the dummy, but he could not make his way through on the way into turn 10.
Yeah, we said that Ooms was a bit too far ahead, but actually he must have made a mistake somewhere because he's under pressure massively from Henny now, who goes to the outside down the straight. I think he's got him before the chicane.
Yeah, it was 1.5 seconds slower than Henny on the previous lap, so not surprised to see him get through quite so quickly. And Ooms got to be careful he doesn't lock up with that front wing damage and take Henny out.
Yeah, Van Gien still putting up a stellar defence there. He's he knows not to defend thin air, but he's going to have a trouble going down into this first corner because he's tucked right up behind him once again. So
top 3 is the same as what it was in race 1, just in a different order. So we've definitely seen these guys make their way through the pack. Van Gien once again going defensive on Watley. I wonder if these two would just stop squabbling for a minute. They could maybe make their way through on yellow Ooms, but they've only got 1 lap to do it now.
He did. Watley tried to sell him a dummy going into the first corner. He went to the inside and then threw it to the outside to see if he could make past, but Van Gien made a bigger stuff than that.
So podium looks secure. All eyes are on 4th, 5th and 6th between Ooms, Van Gien and Watley. Ooms nursing a damaged car with a bent front wing, but he's done a pretty good job keeping these guys behind him for so long. And actually, I think with the gap between Van Gien and Watley just stretching out a little bit, Van Gien now fancies a look at 4th place. And Ooms going out wide on the exit of the Dunlop hairpin. That's just given Van Gien the run he needs to draw alongside. But he's on the wrong line on the way into the Schumacher. So tuck back into that slipstream and has another go at him at the top of the hill.
Got to watch out for Watley behind, though. Here goes Van Gien down the inside with a lunge.
Good defence from Ooms there, and that could just open up the door. They're both out wide, and Watley gets alongside him, but once again on the wrong line. And it just give him a little push there at the apex as they come back onto the pit straight. And Ooms already deciding which line he's going to be on the way into the chicane. Up at the front of the field, though, Alexander Dobertsberger is making his way around the final corner, and he takes victory for the first time in the Formula Renault Challenge. I can't quite believe that. I had to check it myself. But he is victorious in race 3 ahead of Steve Ficacci and Danny Henney. And for 4th place, it is a drag to the finish line. Van Gien has popped out of the slipstream and they're side by side across the line. But it is just Jelle Ooms by just half a tenth of a second to Alex Van Gien with Sam Watley in 6th. What a finale.
And Dobertsberger's pretty happy about that. Him and Henny are doing donuts at the final corner. This is lovely to see.
Yeah, those two have put on a fantastic display. And Henny on the podium in all 3 races. That is impressive. So Gary Thomas was our part-time leader. He got over the line in 7th place. Brad Philpott from last on the grid makes his way up to 8th place. John Lang in 9th with Carl Power completing the top 10. And David Hatton 11th. And we'll see when Sam Harper, he's just crossed the line in 20th place. Not a good day for the championship challenger.
That being said, 20th position with that disastrous last race, particularly at the beginning there, that's actually not as bad as it could have been. So he's only lost 9 points in that race. I know that sounds like a lot, but there's with 43 points in each race to play for, it's not too bad.
Yeah, absolutely. 120 plus on offer at the finale in Suzuka, which is where we'll be headed